Hello viewers from wherever you're watching us from around the world. You're watching QTV, the Gambia's first private TV station, and we are broadcasting from our studios here on Kairaba Avenue. My name is Alio Sise, and it's now time for your weekly State of Affairs program, which is aired every Tuesday at 9 p.m. and repeated on Sunday at 10 a.m. My guest tonight is Honorable Sidi SK, Deputy Speaker, National Assembly, and the Deputy Spokesperson of the ruling National People's Party. Sidi, thank you so much for joining me on State of Affairs program.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
You are not new in Parliament. In the previous government, you have served 10 years in Parliament as nominated member under the former president. And in 2022, President Barrow nominated you back again in Parliament. And you were subsequently chosen as the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly. How is a Deputy Speaker chosen?
According to the 1997 Constitution, under Section 88, President nominates 5. And among those nominated will be the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker. And the process, of course, Parliament should elect a Deputy Speaker. But in an organized setup where you have an organized government coming from a party that have majority in Parliament, naturally it is a practice that the leader of the party in government will, of course, behind the scenes, nominate and identify who would be his or her speaker and of deputy speaker. And in this instance, His Excellency President Adama Barrow nominated me to be the deputy speaker of the National Assembly.
And what are some of the important duties of a deputy speaker?
Yeah, as per the 1997 Constitution, the deputy speaker and speaker are more or less the same. You act instead of the speaker. And in addition to deputizing, being a deputy to a head of institution, among other also assignment and other responsibilities assigned to you by the Constitution or an act of Parliament, and of course your boss, your immediate boss, that is the Speaker of the National Assembly. And the role of a deputy speaker is like this. The speaker is the head of Parliament, and the deputy speaker is the deputy head of Parliament, and we are in charge and responsible of managing the day-to-day affairs of Parliament, being the leadership of Parliament, the staff, and as well as members of Parliament. And the policies, the directions, the visions, and the mission statement of Parliament, it's what we do. We manage members of Parliament, and of course we manage staffs of Parliament, which is of course headed by the Clerk of the National Assembly, as in other institutions called the Permanent Secretary. And of course the Clerk also manages and supervises those below him. The deputy clerks, we have 3 deputy clerks and about 200 staffs. And primarily the responsibility of Parliament members of the National Assembly, among a host of other issues and among a host of other responsibilities, are to enact laws, to legislate, and also represent the people. In a legislation, there are a lot of processes that are, of course, evolving and developing, of course. What kind of legislation or piece of legislation that emanating from Parliament or the executive is the introduction of piece of legislation to Parliament is the primary responsibility of the executive, and of course of Parliament members. In this instant, a member of Parliament can also propose a piece of legislation, and in this instant it is called a private member's bill. And there are a lot of processes and procedures when a piece of legislation is being introduced. We also are responsible of affirming treaties. Our government entered into agreement with other countries, or especially in foreign relations, as well as in charge of in our oversight function, put checks on the executive arm of government, and as well as anything that is to the interest of the public as per 1997 Constitution.
But when you deputize for the Speaker, one will expect that you'll be politically impartial as a neutral referee. But
not necessarily when you deputize for the Speaker.
Exactly.
But as a member, as a Speaker or Deputy Speaker.
Exactly. Yes.
Because you are also.
Just allow me to complete.
You are also a judge.
Yes, you as a judge. I mean, also, the deputy spokesperson of the National People's Party, a partisan position. I mean, so how do you balance between these two interest groups?
You balance them because, in accordance to the 1997 Constitution, the President of the Republic, the Vice President, Speaker or Deputy Speaker, Minister, and member of the National Assembly are not public office, meaning because the Constitution has limited the public office participation in politics. Among other things, they are not allowed to hold public office. So therefore, the 1997 Constitution allowed the President, the Vice President, the Speaker, and the Deputy Speaker to hold public political offices and also to partake in politics. Because remember, the National Assembly, being apart from the presidency, the executive, the president, who is the head of the executive branch of government, you have the legislature. The legislature is the biggest political institution of a country. So, but when it comes to, there are instances, for example, when we have political events, political rallies, political activities that at party level. But in Parliament, when you are as a Speaker or presiding, you do your best because whatever you do as a Speaker or Deputy Speaker is guided and dictated by law. Even our processes and procedures, either in Parliament or in committees or in our day-to-day administration of the office of the National Assembly of the Republic of the Gambia, you are guided by law. More often than not, when you watch proceeding, there are processes and procedures. There is a law, an act of Parliament that we call standing orders, a book, that is guiding behaviors of members, behaviors of Speaker and Deputy Speaker, and those also who are appearing before Parliament.
And a code of conduct as well.
And we also have a code of conduct, either plenary or committee level, or our responsibilities as we discharge those offices. So you must perform the office of the Speaker or Deputy Speaker with impartiality.
Haven't you had any instance where you feel conflicted while you are presiding over the National Assembly hearings, where something come in and you believe is within the government and of course the National Assembly, where you feel, oh?
No, not really, because if you're a Speaker, when I sit there presiding, being a judge, or I am not allowed to take position by law. So I will allow members to do their submission, or ministers or the Vice President. And when there is seemingly not in line with law, that's the standing orders, it's the responsibility of the Speaker or any other member of Parliament to bring that attention to the floor. And then more often than not, members will debate. There will be counter argument, point of orders, but the Speaker, you must rule. You must deliver a judgment based on the law. So most of the time, we tend to do our best to rule in accordance with law. So sometimes there might be omission.
Yeah.
That is why, but the law is also protective of the Speaker and of members of Parliament and the Vice President and ministers, and their processes and procedures, if you want to, for instance, challenge the decision of the Speaker, because our decision as Speaker or Deputy Speaker is always final.
And in this case, I mean, do you support the idea that both the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker's position should be elected? They should be elected by the NAMs, and not just having the President identify who he or she wants to be the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker?
In this instance, because at this point, at this time, I am Deputy Speaker, and I am nominated by the President. I wouldn't want to give my opinion on those things.
But is this something that you think in the future we should consider it, having these two persons elected by the National Assembly members?
You see, whatever one is looking at or doing, you must look at it objectively, because every position that you might come from in respect to this, you can have a justifiable argument that you can put forward. And pundits or proponents of to be nominated by the president have their own justification, is that now that the president is elected by the majority of the people, that is, the people have decided, the verdict of the people, and they have entrusted all their responsibilities, powers and authority which is derived from the people, and they have invested it in the presidency. Why not he nominate? That's the pundits. That's the proponent of that. That will be able to send in people there who will help shape and lead parliament in accordance with the aspirations of the government when they were going to the people, seeking a mandate of the people to run the country for 5 years. So the pundit are saying, and the proponent of that, their argument are that the president should be able to identify who will lead a most important institution of the state, that is the National Assembly or Parliament, to be able to get people who will be there to help.
So in this case, you support the idea of the president?
I'm coming. I said that's part, proponent, of course, which I support. And they are also proponent of the fact that let them all seek the mandate of the people directly. Now, they had this proponent. They said when they seek mandate of the people, and now as speaker, you are expected to be impartial in delivering your judgment, in leading the National Assembly. Now that you are elected from a party, and you are elected from a particular constituency, the tendencies of you leaning or being political will be greater than probably when you are directly nominated by the president to discharge in accordance with the aspiration of the Gambian people or the people of that particular country who entrusted and assign their responsibilities, powers, and will to that particular leader.
What has been your biggest challenge as a deputy speaker?
Well, some people may believe that it's unbelievable, but there's no point in time I had a challenge in my capacity as deputy speaker in execution of my duties, talk less of the biggest challenge. I'm not so.
Was there any moment during parliamentary debates or sessions where you've experienced something and you feel like, well, I don't think this is the right place for me?
No, not really. No, not really, because maybe because of my entire life I've been in parliament.
Yes. Well, like I said, you know, you've served 10 years.
Yeah, from school, from 2007, I've been in parliament. Maybe that's the only place I know. But sometimes also it's good for people to move on. But at this time, I'm concentrating in ensuring that we continue to lead and serve Parliament, serve Gambian through Parliament. And then most of the time, of course, there are challenging moments when members of Parliament, of course, will argue, and you have to come in and balancing, trying to allow some people to grow or the members to really learn the standing orders, and you trying to affirm your authority.
Recently, your party, the National People's Party, you know, has been on the headlines for what many say is for the wrong reasons. I mean, a story was published on the Voice newspaper regarding the president choosing a successor, and at some point, his lawyers threatened that they were going to take a legal action. I mean, I would like to know from you, has the president initiated any legal proceedings against the Voice newspaper and the journalists concerned?
It is erroneous for one to suggest that the National People's Party have been experiencing a very difficult moment in respect of this. What we saw is journalists, they misspoke. And it was a fiction that they fiction of their own imagination, that they created a situation that is non-existent. So for us, it's a non-event. the mere fact that it's a non-event and the mere fact that people will just sit down and create fiction, whether in their houses or office, and run a very injurious story, news story, it's a non-fiction.
But fiction or not, Honorable CV, one would say
it's a fiction, it's a non-event.
This journalist in this particular case contacted your party to get your reaction to the story. It was balanced. It wasn't a one-sided story. I mean, these are stories that we've been reading in the newspapers, rumors and all those things happening within political parties. So why is this one so close to your heart, or so, dissatisfactory to a party that, the president through whose layers,
No. Let me finish and come. You see, journalists or people must differentiate between a balanced story and committing error or omission or being in conflict with the law. These are two different things. Writing a story about Aliou Cissé and contacting Aliou about the story, Aliou telling you that is false, it's not a good, and it is not newsworthy, and it's private. You publishing the side of your source, and Aliou himself does not in any way absolve the publisher and the writer of the story from any responsibility, either through civil litigation or criminal responsibility. These are two different things.
So has the president initiated?
No, of course, of course, because there was a party leader, the Secretary General of the National People's Party, wrote and said, if A, B, C, and D is met, I'm fine. If A, B, C, and D is not met, we'll go to court. That is magnanimous.
So what brought in the police in this whole case? I mean, one would say this is a civil matter. What brought in the police into this whole matter? Couldn't the president or the NPP just go to court and not...
No, let me finish. Okay. When the president decided to go to court through civil litigation, he's been hailed, being the president of the republic, trying to, being a president, commander-in-chief, trying to exercise his right as a citizen, and trying to tell Gambians that we must have confidence in our judiciary. We must resolve and solve issues through the court system if we feel aggrieved. Telling people that I believe in a system that I am building, and I believe in due process. I believe in democracy. I believe in rule of law. I believe in respecting people's rights, people's liberties, and fundamental, of course, even freedom of expression. He said, legally throughout the world, we all have freedom of expression. We have rights to liberty. But of course, these are not unlimited, unchecked. They are checked by law. And once you infringe someone's liberties, someone's rights, someone's freedom, in your exercise of the rights vested in you, as per laws of that country, and in this instance of the Gambia, it's the same right also. You must be mindful. You must not also infringe on the rights and liberties of other people in writing your stories. You must be mindful of the law. You must be mindful of actions that might be injurious, actions that might be libelous, actions that might be slander, actions that might cause serious misrepresentation to people. When that happens, you must own up responsibility of your actions as either a private citizen or in your official capacity or in your daily life.
Honorable, we understand all this.
Now,
I would just like to know from you.
Now, the police.
Wow, the police, yes.
The Gambia Police Force, for us, for me, as an executive member of the National People's Party, deputy spokesman, and my Secretary General, who is the party leader, we have no hand with the Gambia Police Force action. We believe,
really?
like each and every citizen, the Gambia Police Force are empowered by the Constitution to act where they feel that a crime has been committed, or is being, or is about to be committed. They can come on board with view of investigating, averting if the crime have not been committed, or if the crime is believed to have been committed, to investigate and to get to the bottom of the crime, to see if indeed there is probability that a crime have been committed, then they go to court. I
would really like to know from you, what is the crime here?
That is their...
Because this is civil matters.
Let me finish. That is their constitutional mandate. The Gambia Police Force is acting on their constitutional mandate.
And you want to tell us
let me finish, sir.
There was no influence, there
let me finish, sir.
The strings from outside of the police headquarters?
Let me finish, sir. Okay. And in their duties, in their line of duties, the best person to be here to speak for and on behalf of the Gambia Police Force would be a designated officer of the Gambia Police Force to come and speak to you as to details. But because these are the periphery, and that everybody knows that in accordance with the 1997 Constitution and the Gambia Police Force Act, they were acting in accordance with the law vested in them. And we hope and we are happy that during the process, they have not acted beyond the law. They have not acted beyond their constitutional mandate. They were acting within the remit of their law, of the law, and within their docket. And what to explain further, we have no problem. But I can assure you, my Secretary General and myself personally, I've been mentioned by the newspaper, and he even in his, of course, during the investigation, he mentioned me, and in fact, the police also asked him to make a statement. And we were never aware. We only read on the news that the police effected arrest. But for the Secretary General and us, we are following our civil litigation. But for the Gambia Police Force, in their constitutional mandate, which is vested in them, if you want to know how far they have gone, to what level, you may contact them.
I mean, yesterday, the leader of the opposition United Democratic Party, Usainu Dabo, returned from the United States, where in his address to supporters, he said, and I quote, and this was addressed to the police IGP, he said, "You cannot weaponize the police for another person's political interest. This is why people are losing respect for the police." Is the IGP weaponizing the police for your political interest, the NPP here?
These are routine and periodic statements coming from A&M Dabo since 1996 when I was in grade 4. And government then and government now will continue to accord A&M Dabo and any other political leader the freedom, right, liberty vested in each and every citizen to express themselves freely, to make their opinion. But I can assure you that does not in any way means their opinions are right. These are the things that he has been doing, he has been saying. And now he is aging, he's octogenarian. And these are the things that we will allow him to say, but they are false. Since 2017 to date, the police has never weaponized the law. That is erroneous. It's not correct.
But
the Gambia Police Force...
let me
finish.
We have seen on numerous occasions where the police will invite people for questioning and detain them. There's many cases here. The recent case of the Voice newspaper, the cases of Madi Jobati and others. So these are things that we really have to accept. Yes, you might say the police is doing their work, but one will argue that, okay, maybe someone powerful somewhere else is pulling the strings.
Are you done? Aliu, it is erroneous and it is far-fetched from reality for one to insinuate or suggest that from 2017 to date, police have been weaponizing the law. That is false. That is not true. And Aliu, for one to sit down to suggest and to say that the Gambia Police Force, the Gambia Police Force effected arrest and or investigation on the persons of those that you mentioned, weaponization, is unfair to the Gambian people. It's unfair statement to the Gambia Police Force. It's an unfair statement to the maintenance of peace, law, and order. And every well-meaning Gambian, what Gambians and what people must sow, and government under President Adama Barrow will never go near, is oppression. What the Gambia police force or armed and security forces of this country acting outside the law and their constitutional mandate, we must sound that. And under the leadership of President Adama Barrow and the National People's Party, we will never go near that. It is a no-go area for us. Stifling people's liberties and freedom, we will never do that.
But that's what
oppressing people, we will never do that. If the members of the Gambian media, if they don't want their membership to be questioned like any other citizen who are felt, in fact, they are very unfair. How? If people, allow me to finish. The members of the media fraternity, they are very unfair to the Gambian people. How many Gambians on a daily basis are being questioned or are being investigated or are being interrogated or are put before the court of law, and every member of the media and people, they are claiming that the judiciary are independent, the police are professional, the armed and security forces, for instance, the National Intelligence Agency no longer arrest, detain, investigate. They are concentrating on their mandate, constitutional mandate of intelligence gathering, processing, and analysis and production. The Gambia Armed Forces remained on their constitutional mandate of the protections of the territorial integrity and sovereignty of this country.
Is there any political will to repeal the current draconian media laws that the president promised that he was going to repeal?
Let me finish. Okay. Aliu, the Gambia police force, in fact, at this instant, the case of the Voice newspaper people, you are a member of the Gambia Press Union.
Yeah, and I'm a board member.
And we are a board member of the Gambia Press Union. Their rights have never been violated by the Gambia police force during all this period of their investigation. What the Gambia police force believe, if you miswrite or you misspeak,
of course, their rights of movement was seized. Honorable City.
Let me finish.
Yeah.
If the Gambia police force believe you misspeak or you miswrite, and they're asking you, just bring the evidence, say, you know what, I have not. You know, and the puller, and the community are going to gear. So they am na ay dej ay reher li nga binda am ñu ne am na ay dej lo xamne dafa jamaat nit ñi loolu lañ foog nga ne déedéet loolu yow li nga binda benn dej nekku fa. You just go there and present it bare to them. Why are you people concerned about? We said, let's go to court. That's what the police are saying. Go and prove in accordance with section 181.
This is not a police case, for God heaven's sake. This is a criminal matter.
No, wait.
This is a civil matter.
Wait.
The president could have just used his lawyers to file a case at the
No,
court.
you don't understand. Aliu, billahi wallahi, it's wrong to say the president is using the police. Wait.
Well, that's what
Aliu, wait.
Okay, go ahead.
Aliu, every genuine Gambian and well-meaning Gambian must hail the president. This is novel. It has never happened from another time. For the past 30 years in the Gambia, we've never known this. Where a president who feels wrong and said, I am going to sue you to court for civil litigation, is novel. The president should be held for that. You see, we must not, and then we must divorce the president as a Secretary General taking his course through civil litigation, and the Gambia police force mandated to maintain internal security, law and order, and within their constitutional mandate to investigate people that they believe may have committed a crime. But they can only investigate and form an opinion. Based on their opinion, they will choose either to prosecute you or not. Where they choose to prosecute you, you should go to court. That's where you neke bena whether ñom luñ wax lu am la o amut o yow li nga wax lu am la o amut fu mbaxana neke bena mbaxana bobu moy di set lool.
That's now moved on another issue. In his last address to the nation, his son, he said, he hoped that referendum by December will be held on the draft constitution. I would just like to know from you, are we on course to a December referendum?
Yes, we are on. No, this December.
Yes. Are we on course for a referendum on the draft constitution?
No, not this December.
No, he said this December.
Yeah. You know, there are processes, and he hoped that before December, the process would have started. And thank God, about a month or 2 months ago, the process started. His government gazetted the constitution, but you know, there are about 3 months, 10 days or so, something like that, that you know, they must publish in the gazette and also introduce it to Parliament, the processes. And when you introduce it to Parliament, also it takes some time in Parliament before referendum. So referendum will be most likely around the first quarter of 2025, because you know, the bill is being gazetted now, and then it will be in Parliament most likely in this November-December session. So that from Parliament will look at it, also have some processes and procedures, and once the bill is read the second time also, and of course the third time pass, then it will go for referendum.
Honorable, what will be your reaction to those who said, I mean, the past 8 years of President Barrow?
You have ambushed me.
Yes, and his NPP has been a lost and wasted years. What will be your reaction?
That is the most ungenuine, unrealistic, false, fake assassin you can ever find in this country. Even the 7-year-old, the toddlers, 1 year, 1 month old, will tell you, Baba Imantonyafo. If you say this, they'll tell you, Daddy, that's not true, that's false. Those saying it, 8 years, 9 years ago, they dare not say this thing.
Why?
Because what President Barrow institutionalized today is true democracy. Even you are sitting down here with the Deputy Speaker of the country telling me some of these questions 10 years ago. You dare not think of these things to ask me that question. That alone is telling you that it's false. And 8, 9, 10 years ago, you dare not, you never dream of a president will say, okay, I am wrong by somebody, I will go to court. You have never thought of that. You thought 9 years ago, 10 years ago, some people didn't give up. Today, some of those who are being the policemen of the country, being the rights inspectors of the country, those who believe that they are human rights advocates for every Gambian,
what will
they were under their mother's bed.
What will you look at and say these are some of the weaknesses of the Barrow's government?
You said?
The weaknesses of the Barrow's government. Because it seems you are making us believe that everything is well and good.
Of course, Alu.
What are some of the weaknesses that you believe the government should have really improved on? Like I said, when you say government, it's not just about the president. You know, it's about everyone who is working within the government. And even us as ordinary citizens.
What I would believe is wrong because of the lack of commitment from the opposition in national duty.
But they are not in government. Why do you have to blame the opposition? I think you should start
wait. They're into government. You said nation building government.
Yeah, but why will you start with the opposition and not the government?
No, wait.
Okay, all right.
We have opposition in most of these municipal councils. Their unwillingness.
But they were elected by the people.
No,
but they were elected. You cannot blame them.
This
is democracy. This is elections. They were elected.
You don't understand.
All right, go ahead.
Ali, I have not finished yet.
Okay, go ahead.
It's like you don't even know. You will not know what happened.
Okay, proceed. Okay, go ahead.
Are you God?
Yes, go ahead.
Ali, we have political leaders, political parties occupying council, grassroots development.
Are they occupying Basse Area Council?
No.
Area Council? No, I'm just asking.
Oh, no.
Okay, proceed.
Oh, no.
Proceed.
Obviously, you don't know.
Proceed.
And that's why when you go there, they are collaborating with government. They are cleaning their streets, collecting garbages, issuing scholarship, working with government and government building roads. You go to the markets around here. You go to KMC, you go to Talinding, Latikunda, you go to Brikama, Sinchu Alaji. You saw everybody was complaining. You go to the Banjul City Council. You see how dirty, how litters, how garbage are littered everywhere and not collected because you don't want to work with government.
That granted. How about within the government now, central government?
Like what?
What would you look at and said you wished, I mean...
If we improved.
Yeah.
You know, I wish that as a government, we have more money. The space at which the ruling NPP is developing in the area of infrastructure, in the area of energy, in the area of agriculture, in the area of human development, in the area of socio-economic development, in the area of women empowerment, in the area of employment, employability, in the area of rights, and in the area of abstract development. I wish we have enough money to catapult the agenda of President Adama Barrow and NPP. You see what he has ushered in. You are from rural Gambia.
Certainly,
Alu,
and a proud one.
Alu, have you seen the unprecedented development taking place from your area? For instance, Kabada, Alu. The area you came from and the area I came from. In our entire life, our parents, our great-grandparents, our dads and our moms and our brothers, they have never set their eye on Magadamais Road. They have never set their eye on electricity. Alu, today, you got those thatch roof. It's electricity in your villages. In my village, hamlets, you saw tar roads for the first time. You never had school in your area.
But on the other hand,
no,
people
Alu,
are still complaining about high cost of living.
That is why I said, no, Alu, wait.
Yeah.
That is why I said, Alu, where you are sitting down today, where you hail from, they wished the government, President Adama Barrow, have billions of dollars. The rate at which he is developing this country, it would have been second to none. That is the regret we have as a government and challenge.
And moving forward, I mean, recently the Parliament passed a motion to have fine men and women in uniform deployed to Sierra Leone on a peacekeeping mission. I mean, do you think our army is capable enough to maintain peace in Sierra Leone?
Yeah. Since 1900, they have been going to a peacekeeping mission. In fact, peace enforcement. You remember they went to Liberia to enforce peace. They went to Sudan. They went to Sierra Leone for peace mission. Now they are not going to enforce. You remember that? Now they are going to peace mission.
So if
just like the ECOMIC is doing here, they are going to do that in Sierra Leone.
If, like you said, our men are capable enough to maintain peace in Sierra Leone, one watching this program will be asking, so what is the economic force still doing in this country if our fine men and women are capable enough to maintain peace in a foreign country?
That is the inability of those people to understand that we are in a global world, global village. Their inability to accept geopolitical realities, their inabilities to accept the new emerging foreign relations, foreign policies of Africa, ECOWAS, and the world, of cooperation. Their inability to foresee us as Africans working together, deepening democracy, deepening rule of law, deepening... You see, when we have Nigerian, Senegalese, Ghanaian, other national here, and we have Gambian, Senegalese, Sierra Leone, Ghanaian in Sierra Leone. We have Liberian, Gambian, Ghanaian, Egyptian in Nigeria to help maintain peace, maintain rule of law, embolden democracy. It's a vision that the current leadership of ECOWAS, their vision, their foresight, may not be realized now, but in the next 100 years, there this decision in ensuring that, especially this part of the Africa, that is West Africa, which is notorious for unconstitutional change of government, and these people, their mission is so you remember the Kwame Nkrumahs, the Sir Daudas, the Sir Farimang Singatis, the J.C. Faye, the Julius Nyerere and others, their vision of ensuring that Africa for Africans and ensuring that we share and cooperate and maintain peace and stability. They could not. That was the dream they had. Now the current young emerging African leaders, the likes of President Adama Barrow and others, they are the dream. They are implementing the dream in a way that we will have certain number of countries to a country that they think their democratization process or processes are being or is about to be under threat, for them to go there and stabilize. You know, it's a stabilization force in the Gambia, and it's a stabilization force in Sierra Leone, and it can be, there's also a stabilization force in Guinea-Bissau. And I wish that was earlier on thought on by them. We would not have what we have now in Guinea-Conakry, in Mali, and in Niger.
Honorable Sidi, 2026 is not far. I mean, the National People's Party, how are you preparing for the elections?
Ganar bifum nenon daw fofule nenati. We are prepared.
Are you going to retain President Barrow as your candidate?
Inshallah Rabbi, yes, he will be our candidate for 2026, and he's going to win.
Why do you think Gambians will vote for him for another third term? This is a man who has always advocated the importance of two terms.
The Gambian will
why,
vote.
why should he go in for third term?
No, you know, that is the ignorance of most Gambians. Okay. Some people who will sit behind their computers or mobiles and send in false claim. This is a guy who said he will never stay long, and he will never stay long.
15
and
years?
This is
if
a guy.
He has to go in for third term?
No, Aliu, no.
15 years?
Aliu, no. You see, we don't have a law that limits people contesting offices in the Gambia.
But he can say
just like
enough.
You don't have
exactly,
just like
there is no law. You can say, okay, I've served 2 terms. So in PP you have another candidate. You have the likes of Sidi Njai, who are very competent enough to contest as candidates.
Wait, let me finish.
Yeah.
Then you ask a follow-up question.
Okay.
It's just like the law we have is the same law you have in UK,
okay,
in France, in Holland, in Spain, in wherever. No term limit. That is why you see people contesting elections as long as they wish in these European countries, because there is no term limit, because they believe that it is the people who will decide who will lead them based on what you offer. And for us, what we offer, like your people, when you go to your area, Kabada, and you want to exchange President Barrow with another guy, they will send you out of the of your home village. Of course, okay. They'll send you out of your region. You know where you come from, and I know where I come from, because for them, they have been hearing people promising. For instance, Kabada, since colonial time, you have been crying for the entire region of Kabada, that's Swat. Have you ever had a Magatamais road? Have you ever had a lateral road, Aliu? Answer yes or no. You never. You are trying to be professional here, but you know you never. Have you ever, the entire region of Kabada, had health post? The entire Kabada region, have you ever had a groundnut buying point?
But that's the responsibility of the government to do.
Wait.
It's not like the government is doing us a favor. That is the responsibility of the government to provide those roads for the people.
No, that is why those people, Nyamama, they are not mad. That is why those people, they want more. Aliu, have you ever seen electricity, that region? Have they ever had? They never. Even Saret, you want a Saret? I'm on Kabada.
But even
Aliu, you know that?
But even Nyanija.
Exactly. Exactly. Our region and your region. Yes. Aliu, do you think the people of Nyanija will exchange the NPP? So now, President Adama Barrow, he is the demand of the Gambian people. I am not talking about the few who felt that they were enjoying and mismanaging and squandering public resources. Now, President Adama Barrow said those days are no more. But now are days of bringing meaningful, physical, and sustainable development to the Gambian people. I mean, and that's what he's doing. For example,
you're talking about the issue of, President Barrow saying no to mismanagement of public funds. I mean, in terms of fighting corruption, there have been several reports of, corruption in government.
By who?
Of course, media reports. I mean,
media report like what?
The issue of the recent Russia oil scandal.
Fake news.
I mean, you can call this face news as you want. The missing millions at the Gambia Post Authority. Yet, as we speak, only one senior government officer has been taken to jail because of corruption, and he has been pardoned by the president.
That is fake news. You see, when people sit behind their computer or laptop and they have nice burger, and while the people in Kabada or Nyanija, they're having their cherry and going to the farm and toil, and they're feeling the development, and people, you can just sit down and create a fictitious story of corruption, of mismanagement, that you are not ready to substantiate. There are due process.
But if this is
let me finish.
The National Assembly is investigating this Russia oil scandal. And just today or yesterday, the central bank governor appeared at the National Assembly to testify in this investigation. Your friend Saini Jawara is the one who is... Yeah.
No, it's not my friend. Say your colleague in Parliament.
Okay, your colleague in Parliament then, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Aliu, you see, as you are yelling now and ranting, you are acknowledging the institutionalization of democracy and due process.
Yeah.
Now, just this.
Exactly.
You said it is before Parliament.
Yeah, and they're investigating it.
Parliament, the executive, the police, and the government, because remember, these are audit, that one is not audit query. When you talk about audit, for example, people go to social media, say there are millions. You see, audits are when they do those processes and request documentations. As they go on, they make queries and they make observations, and you respond and reply. It is unless and until all those things, processes are finished. And when that is done, it comes to Parliament. And it goes to the presidency. And he enact. And he act on those things. And the Gambia Police Force, wherever they suspect, investigate in the instant of the case that you mentioned. It's as a result of the police investigating and the state prosecuting. You don't expect state to be run by social media. You don't expect a state to be acting based on social media. If people have evidence, they can come forward as citizens. But for example, you talked about the Russia oil. People talk about this, corruption, scandal. It's before Parliament. I may not want to, and I understand also it's before the court of law. But you see, there are processes that happen. And now the National Assembly is following those processes. Let's allow them to complete. But I can assure you,
we're running out of
the government of President Adam Barrow is committed to fighting corruption. And in fact, President Barrow is incorruptible. And we are doing whatever it takes. Because if you see, we are able to bring meaningful development to this country, including my region and your region. It's because of the judicious usage of public resources by the president. It's because of financial discipline.
Yes, I know.
It's because of his stoppage of all these celebrations, of all these programs, this endless. He said, let's use it to develop our country.
We're running out of time, but just under a minute. I mean, entirely we cannot blame the president for all what is happening within the government. I mean, certainly there are some people who perhaps are just there just to get their monthly salaries and they don't care what happens. In most cases, some of these, things are being said by people who work in the government. Do you feel disappointed that some people who work in the government and sometimes even very close to the corridor of power are the people who are saying certain things in a system that they are serving? How do you find that?
I find it ridiculous. They are not loyal to the country and they must be loyal to the state. If they are officers of state and they feel something is going on wrong, before they go and using proxies and spreading lies, what makes you believe that what they are saying is on lies? If they believe in themselves, they believe in what they are saying is truth, they believe in serving their country, they must come for openly. They must come openly and help build the country. And if they believe they are serving and playing double standard, they must resign. They should go and look something else to do. They are assigned responsibilities by the president, who's assigned those responsibilities by the Gambian people, and he entrusted you. He's not asking you to serve him. Serve the Gambian people through those positions and based on law. Yeah. And if you are not ready to serve, you are undermining and you are sabotaging the government because you don't want them to continue to offer meaningful socio-economic development to the country, because you believe that if he succeeds, his party will succeed, the government will succeed. And you are doing great injustice and great disservice to the president, to the Gambian people. You cannot be serving government. And that is why there should be policies and laws, stringent measures that put checks on those people so that routinely they are checked. And anyone who is found to be a traitor to the Gambia government must be brought before the court of law and the court to decide. And you cannot serve, you must resign. If you don't resign, you should be sacked.
Thank you so much, Honorable C.D. S.K. Njai, Deputy Speaker, National Assembly, and also the Deputy Spokesperson of the ruling National People's Party. It was good to have you on State of Affairs. Well, viewers, with that, we bring an end to this week's edition of your weekly State of Affairs program. Do join us next week. Until then, bye-bye from me, Alusise, and the entire production team here.